starting with the case of Joshua Lloyd, who in July of 2022 was geocaching Phoenix, Arizona. Geocaching is an activity where people hide physical containers known as caches in different places around the world, and others solve puzzles in order to find them. Joshua is currently searching on the side of a public road, but it seems somebody wasn't too happy about this.
Oh, hold on. We got the cops. They're gonna run my license plate. Morning, can I help you?
I don't know, can we help you? Do you live here?
No, but this is public, correct?
I'm not sure on that. Could be private property.
Could be, but if there was, I do believe there would be a sign posted somewhere, right?
Not necessarily. Is that your car?
That is my car.
Okay. Well, if it is public...
I mean, I would figure it's public. You have electric access here.
Is there anybody in the car?
No, just me. But if you want to go check, go ahead, go check.
Can I get your permission to do anything else?
No.
Do I need your permission?
You would need my permission to go
that cop's a
inside
prick. Arrogant, skinny head ass.
the car.
No, but you just said if you want to go check if there's someone else in the car. Do I?
Oh, yeah, go check and you can go look in and see if...
Go ahead. Do I need you to tell me to go ahead to do it, or can I do it on my own?
Looks like this officer isn't having a good day. At the first possible moment,
Caught his girl with buddy that's with him. Just doesn't know it was buddy that's with him. He knows she cheating, he just don't know with who.
he decides to start an argument out of nothing. He is right that he doesn't need permission to look inside the car,
So go
but
look,
Joshua
shut
is
up.
just trying to be polite. There's no need whatsoever for the cop to make this difficult. This little rant of his...
Nah, because he's salty. His small spine ass is salty. That dude told him from the beginning it's public, ain't it? They don't like being told what's what. They want to pull you over on public property. When you tell them it's public, they don't like that. What do you mean it's public? It's public, bitch. You know what I'm saying? What are we talking about here?
His seems almost born out of insecurity, and that becomes a pattern
Facts.
as the footage progresses.
Well, I mean, you could do it on your own.
Insecurity and ego, boy. It is destroying you people on a daily basis, and arrogance.
You can do a plain view.
Becomes a difficult. This
just
little
cops.
rant of his seems almost born out of insecurity, and that becomes a pattern as the footage progresses.
Well, I mean, you could do it on your own. You can do a plain view search.
Good. Okay, I thought you were under the impression you had to give me permission.
I mean, would you guys like my name? I'll give you my name. You don't have to run the plate for it because my name's not on the plate.
What's your name?
My name is Josh.
Josh?
Mm-hmm.
Josh what?
Lloyd.
Hey, Phil. we may have to
Joshua
tow-
Lloyd.
Huh?
Joshua.
You're not towing my car.
We may have to tow it. It's not registered to him. It's registered to a female. It's
So?
it's left on the roadway running. I'm not going to leave it here.
Oh, are you serious?
That guy's a dumb pig, boy. That's a silly bastard right there. I'm pretty sure that guy's wife hates him, his kids hate him, everybody hates him. That guy's a dickhead. Look at this jerk off.
Mm-hmm.
Joey jerk off.
Lloyd. Oh, are you serious? Not even gonna question me on who it's registered to? Would you like the insurance and registration?
Oh, you're not driving it. Why would I ask for that?
It seems as though this cop is trying to make everything into a bigger deal than it needs to be. Sure, it might seem odd that the car is registered to a different name next to a guy that appears to have just been staring at a wall for 30 minutes, but we know that Josh has a reasonable explanation for it, just the same as the cops would if they bothered to ask. But instead, the cop just decides that the best idea is to tow the car and call the owner, instead of just talking to the guy that's explicitly saying he can explain everything.
I'm going to try and get a hold of the owner, see if they know where the car is. Otherwise,
She'll tell you that her son-in-law has it. You're gonna let him act like that just because I'm standing over
Yeah,
here.
he is, because he's pussy. Of course he's going to let him act like that, because he's soft. He a punk. That punk taught that punk everything that punk knows how to do. So, of course, he's going to let him act like that. And that's the argument I have with, oh, so many good cops. Listen, man, they punks. They punks too. All the ones that you think are not on the tape, that you think if they ain't actively checking dude and saying, nah, bro, we're not putting ourselves in this position over this guy. Like, there ain't enough other shit that y'all got to worry about. We're not going to put ourselves in this position over this guy. We're going to mind our business because it's not our business. You know what I'm saying? Nah, so this dude's a punk. And dude asked him the right question.
Next to law has it. You're gonna let him act like that.
Yep.
Just because I'm standing
It's
over
daddy.
here next to a wall, and you guys haven't even asked me what I'm doing. I even turned around, I gave you the thumbs up. He comes out all hard. Why? I'm not trying to catch you in
Daddy.
anything, man. Asking a simple question.
The other cop's smirk says it all. He's well aware that his partner's behavior is unreasonable and frankly just weird, but at the same time, he can't badmouth him either.
Have you been allowed to use the car?
I live with her, yes, and I'm allowed to use the car, hence
Okay.
the reason why I have it.
Okay, all right. Well, we're going to do some research, find out whose property that is. You got your name, your information. If it turns out that it is private.
Don't he look like the Tiger King? He look like the Tiger King. Look at this sucker. Look at it. Insert Tiger King outfit right here. I'm never going to financially recover from this. That's Buddy right there. With all his little hand gestures and shit. You a punk. That cop's a punk.
Property that is. You got your name, your information. If it turns out that it is private property, then I'll author a report for trespassing.
Shut
I
up.
don't think it
And-
would be
No,
private
I
property
don't- I
because
don't-
what I was doing
No,
was a
listen to your
public
statement.
event. So
Josh,
you guys never even
Josh,
asked
listen to
me.
your statement. I don't think. That's why I'm going to find out for sure whose property.
Okay,
it
you
belongs to.
go ahead for sure.
Again, here's the thing. I don't need your permission to check out.
Get your
whose
bitch ass
property,
outta here.
But I appreciate you giving me the go-ahead.
Can I have your name and badge number? Your card?
8632.
8632.
You're recording it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I have your name and badge number, please?
1480.
All right. Thank you. I greatly appreciate that.
The way the second cop acts after his partner leaves is like he's brought
Look,
his kid along
look,
to work.
Daddy did good. Daddy punked you. Look at. All of y'all run around like this. Batman and Robin. Look what Daddy did. Suckers. Punks. Pussies. Fuck these guys.
And he's telling Josh to just let him have his fun. Regardless, the first officer tells Josh that they're gonna head off and do research to make sure this isn't private property. But even if it was, it'd be incredibly hard to convict him of trespassing anyway. As you can tell from the footage,
He's
the
on a
area
public
of land he was
sidewalk.
on is directly next to a public sidewalk, and there is no signage alluding to the fact that the grass is somehow private property. However, even if it was, because of the lack of signage, Josh would never be made aware that he shouldn't be there,
There you
meaning
go.
it's impossible to claim he knowingly entered private property, the legal definition of trespass.
So Officer Jerkoff and his offspring could just take their stupid asses home and mind their business. But the problem is that dude feels weak everywhere he goes. So you gotta play strong.
But before he lets the cops go, Josh has just one more thing to say to them.
I could do some further research before you go up.
Look, he has to get the last word. Dude cannot shut the up. That's ego. That's all it is. It's just ego. It's just ego. Him and his son. He teaches his son that shit too.
On a property, find out.
You know,
Josh, I hope you sue these bitches. You should have made them whoop your ass.
no, hold on. Before you go and give me the lecture, how about this? Before you come up all hard ass on somebody, you ask them what they're doing. You could ask me simply at the very beginning,
From the
very
beginning.
nicely, hey, what are you doing?
Do the research and find out whose property you're on because you may.
You said you was gonna do the research. If I'm breaking the law, come get some then. Evidently, I didn't break the law. You breaking the law. You still running your stupid mouth.
Stating that as a fact.
I am. I'm stating it as a fact because I like f***ing with you guys.
Well, now you're using more profanity.
I can use profanity. It's the First Amendment.
No,
You dumb bitch. YouTube, did you hear that? Did you hear that, YouTube?
It's the First Amendment. You cannot restrict my speech. I
Did you hear that, YouTube?
can use it to emphasize my sentences. One man's curse word is another man's lyric.
Real
Josh
words
articulates-
realer words have never been spoken. I fucks with Josh. Josh is that dude.
One man's curse word is another man's lyric.
Josh articulates everything
son.
perfectly and
Can't
of
even grow a
course
beard
is
yet.
perfectly correct. Throughout this entire interaction, he provided everything the cops asked for and more, remained polite throughout most of the conversation,
Listen, remain polite. If they ain't remain polite, I ain't gotta remain polite. Them.
and most importantly, knew the law down to a T. But with all of that said, he was still treated badly by
Tiger
this
King
cop,
bitch.
who frankly had no idea what he was talking about.
Just running
He's
his
completely
mouth
right to
with his
explain
web
his free speech
fucking
rights
fingers.
too. But to explain this
take
further
his two
talking
fingers
about,
together,
he's
look.
badly by this cop,
two
who
fingers
frankly had no
they
idea
are.
what he was talking about.
is wrong with
He's
this guy?
completely right to explain his free speech rights too. But to explain this further, let's take a look at the
Listen here. Yeah, this guy's a certified jerk off. And his offspring over there. the fruit of his nuts. Look at his stupid face. Just a dummy. Just a tiny little man.
But to explain this further, let's take a look at the case of Tom, a teenager who managed to totally school 2 cops when he was pulled over by cops who also had
Tom already destroyed him rocking the OTF shirt, man. We already saw this one. I want to see if they offer any extra information right here than we got before. But he already put himself on the hit list with the police over the OTF t-shirt.
the case of Tom, a teenager who managed to totally school 2 cops when he was pulled over by cops who also had no idea what the law was. This man was walking down the side of
All
a
right,
road
they didn't give us this story last time.
when a police officer passed him. As they drove by, the man flipped
They gave us the story, but not this version of it, because I didn't see Tom call him an idiot.
him off, breaking no laws in doing so.
All right, so Tom flipped him off.
Past him. As they drove by, the man flipped him off, breaking no laws in doing so. But the cops still got personally offended and decided to do this.
Why you giving me the finger? What? What's your problem? What? Why you giving me the finger?
Felt like it.
I'm walking away. Huh? Am I free to go? Why you giving me the finger? Am I free to go?
Felt like it.
Come here. For what reason?
The man who we'll call Tom gets pulled over for allegedly flipping off an officer. Immediately after talking with the officer, Tom asks if he's free to go, and if he's not, why he's being detained. Predictably, the officer isn't able to give a great response to either of these completely valid
course
questions.
What's your problem? Am I free to go? No. What, do you have a problem? No. Do you have a problem? No. You don't have a problem, then I can leave. Why you giving me the finger when you're walking? Huh? Come here. I'm free to go. No, you're not. Get over here. Why? Because. Is that a lawful order? Yeah. For what reason? Because you're giving me the finger. That's legal. No, it isn't. Says who? What's the law? What's your name? What's your name? How old are you?
Conveniently,
That's it.
it isn't difficult to find the law on this one. Perhaps unsurprisingly, contempt of cop or police disrespect is an incredibly common catalyst for unlawful arrest. However, it's very easy to prove that swearing or gesturing at a cop in a non-threatening way is completely legal across the U.S. Freedom of speech is, of course, protected under the First Amendment right, and courts have
You hear that, YouTube?
concluded that giving the finger counts as protected speech. In fact, in 2006, a case was opened against a man in a very similar position, and the court explicitly stated that directing the middle finger at an officer is protected expression under the First Amendment, meaning that Tom is well within his rights to flip the officer off. But unfortunately, the situation begins to escalate, and even more words are exchanged.
Have a good one. Please. Fucking pig. Whatever. Fuck you. What? You heard me. Come here. I'm afraid of you. Come here.
Come here.
Here. Get over here. What? You heard me. Come here. I'm afraid of you. Come here. Get over here. What? Get over here. I'm not doing anything illegal. Yeah, you are. You just cursed me off. That's not a crime. Yes, it is. Says who? Says me. Turn around. Come
Says
on.
me. That's your answer right there. That's the most honest answer any one of those motherfuckers are gonna give you. Says me.
Fucking crime. Yes, it is. Why are you cursing me? It's not a crime. What's your name? It's not a crime. What's your name? Help! Help! No help. Help!
At this point, the officer turns off his body camera, which on top of being
That should be
illegal,
a charge right there. You ain't got no reason, no excuse, nothing. Nothing. No reason to turn off your camera. Name one. I can't think of one. No way.
definitely isn't the officer turns off his body camera, which on top of being illegal, definitely isn't the best thing to do as you're handling a civilian who's screaming for help. This time, the cop cites Tom's more recent expletives as the reason for arrest, but once again, Tom is completely allowed to say what he said. The law says the only words not protected by the First Amendment are fighting words intended to incite an immediate breach of peace. Or, in short, words that directly threaten someone, or imply that the speaker is going to physically attack someone. Obviously, what Tom said falls into neither of these categories, and as backup arrives, the cop starts to realize
Unless it
that
was a threat and he was gonna uck a pig.
he might be in the wrong.
You're being detained because you're acting strange.
Acting
What?
strange.
That's not legal.
It is legal. He's allowed to
Who is
detain you
this kid?
until he performs his
So what am I
investigation.
doing though? What am I doing that made him detain me? What legal right?
I rode by him twice, he shot me the finger. So I turned around and said, well, you're
Is that a crime?
problem. And then he
That's
told
not,
me to
no, that's not a
F
crime.
off, pig.
Yeah, off, big.
Yeah.
That's not a crime. He's looking at you because he's like, what the you want me to do?
Yeah.
It's not a crime. I know my rights.
Yo, the other video, the other video did not give us this information. Shorty's on his shit.
I don't have to say any of that.
You do if you're being detained.
For what reason?
What
legal reason am I being detained for?
Where are you coming from and where are you?
What legal reason am I being
I'm not
detained
answering shit. Why you asking me questions, Biff? Huh? I don't gotta answer your questions, Biff. You know what I mean? Just because Uncle Fester called you over here doesn't mean you got some kind of authority over here. Because first of all, y'all are detaining me illegally. There's no initial crime. So even if he were to fight them right now and they charge him with with resisting, well, what's he resisting? How is he resisting if there wasn't a crime?
I need to know that. Legally, I need to know that.
Now the officers are telling Tom that he's legally required to identify himself now that he's being detained, despite not being able to provide a reason for his detention. While this is often correct during an arrest, in New Jersey, a person being detained not suspected of committing a motor vehicle offense can refuse to give ID. But the cops are still way behind on this. Now they can't even figure out why they're detaining him.
Look at these
Why are you
Shooting me to figure.
Why are you?
Is that illegal?
Why are you flipping the bird? Yes, it is. It's causing a public disturbance and a public alarm if you are cursing.
So
in
a
public.
single one.
So when you are cursing in public, you are causing a public disturbance. You're being a nuisance to the public.
I'd like to see you guys prove it in court.
What he is doing is he's not saying you're being charged with anything. At that
I'm
point,
just
he's
figuring out
detaining
what's
you
wrong with you.
to make sure that there is nothing
Make
wrong.
sure you're okay.
Make sure that you're okay.
What reason does he need to detain me?
He thought maybe he thought you were signaling him down. I'm not sure.
You knew very well that I wasn't signaling to you, right? I wasn't signaling.
Well,
to you.
you bring attention to yourself.
That's not signaling.
You're acting strange. I'm making sure you're okay.
The officers are desperately trying to make excuses now,
Yeah,
and
y'all
now
sound
seem to be
stupid.
claiming that this is a welfare check, and Tom's middle finger was a signal for help.
Right.
Luckily, a
Come on,
case
Biff.
closed in 2013 explored this very same matter. A cop observed a man giving him the finger and pulled him over, stating he thought he was trying to get his attention and was concerned. But the court eventually ruled that, quote, this ancient gesture of insult is not the basis for a reasonable suspicion of a traffic violation of impending criminal activity. So with this in mind, it's extremely likely that the court would decide that the cop was lying here as well, even without the body cam footage. But the best part of this entire investigation is watching the officer's face as he tries to escape the hole he's dug for himself.
Cursing and using vulgar gestures is
So what's
causing
the
a
First
public
Amendment for?
It's causing a public disturbance.
What's
and
the
public
First
alarm.
Amendment for?
The First Amendment is for your freedom of speech. Okay.
Okay.
What does that have to do with
Was I
using
making a call to
gestures?
action? Was I making a call to action? Was I like
When you were
threatening
acting-
you
what
in
are
any
you-
way?
what are you
Did I
talking
threaten
about?
you?
Do you
You
understand
know what a
your-
call to action is?
Do you understand that you're
Encouragement.
acting-
Is that a call to action? Am I calling for an action to be done against?
Acting smarter than them or acting like you, even if the kid's a dummy and only knows one thing and this is all he knows more than what they know in that sense. And these guys just sitting here just with their whole uniform on, feeling important. They're just a bunch of dummies in uniforms.
Do you understand that it is?
attention to
Listen,
yourself and
listen,
get
listen, listen.
That's not legal.
It's behavior that's out of the ordinary.
Which one was it?
So what
'Cause
were
now
you
you're-
doing?
Well, I want to know from your perspective. What
I
was I
pulled
doing?
up onto the scene, so you tell me what you were
To
doing.
bring you attention.
I plead the fifth. You fucking idiot.
What has now turned into an argument lasts for a few more minutes before Tom finally gives in and hands his ID over and is told he's free to leave. Remember, he was not legally required to identify.
Here's the problem with this ID shit. How do we know they didn't take that kid's address and said, boy, you made a fool out of me on my shift, and now I'm going to take this address, I'm going to come do something to you. You know? He's not on file as being arrested. He's not on file as being detained. He's not on file as nothing, but they have his information now because they forced it out of him and him, knowing that he beat them dudes bloody, mentally beat them bloody. So now they feel like they got to take out some revenge on him. So they just take his ID and take a good look and they go get him where they want to get him. Like, it's tyrant shit.
He was not legally required to identify himself, but that was the only thing that got the officers to let him go.
So that's
And
basically
his-
kidnapping, dog. If you're not letting me leave and I don't have to give you an ID, you just kidnapped that young man and you got his information. Now you doxed him. You kidnapped him and you doxed him.
Tom also informed the officers that he intended to pursue legal action, but very little information about this is publicly available, or the fates of these horrifyingly corrupt officers.